Andy Reid calls the plays. Andy Reid's got his thumb all over every bit of that. But I do think that Matt Nagy and Andy Reid are too comfortable with each other. They're buddy. They've been rubbing elbows for years, man. So I think you have to get someone new in here that can push back a little bit or bring new ideas to the table.
Hindsight is 2020. And when you look back on that and you say, we didn't get that and our defense was going ham in the third quarter, and you go ahead and you say again that you don't really regret doing it and that you would do it again, and you actually liked the play call in which we had no threat of a run and we went empty backfield, blows my mind.
Like I said, the writing's on the wall big and bold. Something has to change, and it's not something small like that. Like, there has to be something to make heads roll a bit, because right now I think Matt Nagy is the main target. The whole fan base is ready to get rid of Matt Nagy, and I think that's a good idea.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. Let's freaking go, baby. Appreciate you guys rolling in here and listening to us this morning. It is Tuesday, December the 9th. We're getting close to Christmas, brother, and the Chiefs are already looking like they done, son. It's not good. After that Texans loss, the Chiefs have a very, very thin razor chance of making it to the playoffs. It's not good, and we fully don't expect it at this point. But let's talk about some of the backlash that's been coming from the fan base, from football analysts, and everything like that. This coaching staff has been an ultimate, historical failure this year. I mean, and it's not just the coaching staff, Mike. It's all the way from the top of the organization to the bottom. Everyone has missed this year, and it's just been really bad.
Right. Let's start off talking about Andy Reid and that crucial fourth down call. I think that was a big one to start with. And Andy was asked yesterday about the play. They asked him, hey, do you regret doing that? Would you do it again? Whatever. And in full Andy Reid fashion, because he is the most stubborn dude I've ever seen. We have said this all year long. This coaching staff is so stubborn, be it Spags, be it Andy, be it whoever it is. They refuse to change. They refuse to do what works when it works. They would rather lose doing it their way than win doing it somewhere else.
I felt we were in a good position. I thought we had a good play. Again, I thought it was the right thing to do then. And this is terrible to say in a situation like this because we didn't win and we didn't get that, but I would probably do that same thing again.
Steve, hindsight is 2020. And when you look back on that and you say we didn't get that and our defense was going ham in the third quarter, and you go ahead and you say again that you don't really regret doing it and that you would do it again, and you actually liked the play call in which we had no threat of a run, blows my mind. And that just shows you that maybe some of the people that are calling for an all-out coaching change might have a point.
Right. Well, I mean, that's Andy Reid in a nutshell, right? He did say it was the wrong decision, obviously, in hindsight, wrong decision, shouldn't have done it. But like you said, he did say he liked it. He thought that they could get it. He thought he was fully confident the offense could get the 2 yards. He said that they used a similar play to the one last week where they kind of peeled Jared Wiley out there and got the first down on fourth down. The fact of the matter that he said that he would do it again is pretty wild, I think. I think that, to me, having confidence there and being aggressive, that was a little over ambitious. It's like it goes from being ballsy or being aggressive into the slapnut territory of Brendan Staley and Dan Campbell, right? And that's exactly what Andy Reid did. He got a little too ambitious there.
Look, there's a time and a place.
There is,
to be aggressive.
I don't think, not learning your lesson and saying I would do it again, that's the part that's worrisome.
Yeah, that's horrible. That shows you exactly how stubborn this team is. And like I was just saying, a lot of people are calling for they want some coaching changes and this and that. You just seen how stubborn Andy is. Like he said, he basically spoke out of both sides of his mouth. He said it was stupid, but I'd do it again. Or it wasn't the right call, but I'd do it again. That doesn't tell me anything. Andy hasn't learned anything from the Philly days that got him fired. Honestly, I like Andy Reid, and I don't think he should be fired. I think he deserves at least 1-2 more seasons. But at the same time, this is the stuff that got him fired from Philly. And if not for Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he'd have ever got over the hump here. And he would have always been doing this stuff when it comes to clock management, not having a running game, just always making stupid decisions. And Mahomes and Kelsey, to a certain degree, have bailed this guy out over and over again and made it look better than it has.
Right. And just to kind of play devil's advocate to that, like I'm with you. I think that Andy probably wouldn't have succeeded without Patrick Mahomes, right? I don't think he would have won any rings. I think Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate factor there. But you can, that's speculation, right? You don't really know. You have no idea. So I think you could go back to, well, maybe Philly fired him prematurely. Maybe they fired him before he could have done something, right?
He was there for a decade.
I know what you're saying. I get it. But I'm just saying, right before he started doing what he did, there is an argument there, right? And you don't want the Chiefs to do the exact same thing where it's like, he had one bad season out of 10, 11, and you're going to go ahead and fire him. I think that's premature. Obviously, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he would have done any better in Philly or got over the hump. I think Patrick Mahomes is the key to winning the rings, but I'm just saying there's an argument to be made there. It's a little, you're jumping the gun too much when you're talking about firing Andy Reid right now. You're jumping the gun too much when you're talking about firing Steve Spagnuolo. Those two guys, I think, have earned a little bit of grace. Ever since Spags got here, the defense has played well enough for the teams to win some Super Bowls. He's the ultimate situational game planner for defense, and I know that he's failed a lot this season, but I mean, that's what he's known for. Andy, the same on offense. This season's just been wild, bro. The season's been rough. We've seen shades of it in seasons past, and we kind of saw it coming, right? But this offseason, I think after this one, if the Chiefs do not sneak into the playoffs, the Chiefs are done. I think this offseason is very critical. And will Andy and his coaching staff evolve and get with the times, or are they going to continue to do what they're doing? And then that's the time where you're like, okay, enough's enough.
Well, look, they have to sneak in here. They've got about a 15% chance, maybe up to 17% chance, depending on what you look at. They've got to win out. That's 100%. They have to win out. They have to beat the Chargers next week.
Absolutely.
They have to win out completely. You've got to beat the Broncos again. You got to do what you got to do. They've got to go 4 in a row.
It's the same song and dance as the last 3 or 4 weeks. You have to win out, right?
Right. You have to win out, and somehow every time that they lose, they still get a chance to win out.
Yeah, you're running out of chances.
But it's making it harder because we've now learned when you're seeing this, we're going to know if the Chargers dropped a game to the Eagles. If they did not, that's going to make it even harder. But we're recording this before that game's even started. So we need the Eagles to win. That makes me sick to even say you have to cheer for Nick Sirianni, but you have to.
Right.
And then they're going to have to lose 3 more out of their 5, pretty much. They've got to lose 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. I don't know what it is. You've got to have the Colts lose 2 out of their last 4. You've got to have the Texans to somehow win games but lose games and finish at like 9 wins.
That's all different scenarios, right? I think like the most popular...
But you need to keep the most scenarios alive you can.
Of course. I think the most popular one is that the Chiefs, obviously, they have to win out regardless. That's the main thing, which is literally just like winning the lottery at this point. You saw how this has been going. But after that, it's the Chargers that are very critical, right? Because if they win out, they obviously beat the Chargers. And then the Chargers need to lose 2 more of their last 4 games after the Chiefs beat them. Now, if they lose to the Eagles tonight, then maybe it's just the Chiefs in 1 more game. I'm not for sure on that. That's one scenario. That scenario also pins on the Colts losing 2
out of 4
of their last 4, which is very
feasible.
Possible. They have a tough schedule, and then Daniel Jones is out for the year, as we all know, and they've kind of been sliding anyway. They were kind of a pretender to begin with. But let's talk about the other scenario that Gemini, the AI, the Google AI, thinks is the most likely scenario, the most favorable scenario for the Chiefs to get into the playoffs at 10-7. And that is the Jaguars winning the AFC South, the Colts finishing 10-7 or worse because the Chiefs have the tiebreaker, and the Texans sliding for the rest of the season and finishing 9-8. It's crazy. If they think that's the most favorable scenario for the Chiefs, that tells you how dire the situation is, because they are on an 8-game winning streak, and it's like that team has to turn around and lose 3 of their last 4 games.
The Texans aren't going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. They've got the Colts coming up. You're probably going to win that without Daniel Jones in the roster. You're probably, I just don't see that happening.
No.
To me, your most favorable one is the Colts losing 2 and the Chargers losing 3, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That one's the one that makes the most sense. That's the one that is doable. I'm sitting here, I'm saying right now, Mike, the way I feel about it, and I've made that very vocal on the post game and the live stream that we did yesterday. I made it very vocal. I do not think the Chiefs are getting to the playoffs. I think it's a wrap, because first and foremost, the Chiefs have to win out, and they have not proved to me this year that they can string 2 wins together, let alone 4.
Right.
And I don't care who your opponents are. And we're talking there, like they struggled with the Chargers in the first game of the season, but I do think the Chiefs can beat the Chargers. There's no reason for me to think that they can beat Denver. Granted, the first game I thought was close. Granted, I do think the Chiefs are a better offense than Denver, but Denver's defense is as good or better than what we saw with the Texans. So what's making me think that the Chiefs are going to win out? There's not much to that. But either way, if they were to squeak it out, Mike, does that save some of the coaching staff? Because I don't feel like it does. I think even if the Chiefs squeeze into the playoffs, and even if the Chiefs make a run, I still think it's very apparent after all the close games last season and all the close games this season that they've given away. I think it's like the writing's on the wall, big and bold. Like, we got to change something.
Right. Look, Adam Schefter was on Pat McAfee Show today, and they asked him, they said, look, we're fans of Andy Reid. We don't think he should be fired, but is there going to be some shakeups on that coaching staff? Schefter said he's not hearing nothing. Now, look, he thinks that if Spags or Nagy, that was the only 2 they called out specifically, he said if they get a head coaching opportunity, they may take it, and you may have to, fill those positions by default. But if they don't go anywhere, that he doesn't know, he has no signs or warnings or anything that the Chiefs plan on switching up anything. Right. Now, we talked about this a little bit off camera, and we said, well, why would an insider know that? I don't think the Chiefs are going to really come out and tell everybody with 4 or 5 weeks left in the season they're about to fire their whole staff. But I think he's got a pretty good inside knowledge of how that operation works, the same way we do. And I believe if it all comes down to it, push comes to shove, and nobody gets a head coaching opportunity, and I don't see him doing it. I don't see Matt Nagy winning a head coaching job. Spags possibly, but he's getting a little older. I don't see anybody getting it, so I don't see anybody going anywhere. I think the Chiefs come back with the exact same staff. I don't see them firing anybody. I don't see them holding anybody accountable. I don't see Joe Blameyer going anywhere. I don't see Connor Embry going anywhere. I don't see Andy Heck going anywhere. Merritt, Cullen, nobody's going anywhere, in my opinion. They may replace like a linebacker coach or, some kind of a coordinator that sits off in the back room. He'll be the, the guy that they pawn off and call the entire thing just a disaster, is the guy that's charting the run plays or something. But other than that, man, I just don't see it. Schefter didn't see it. What do you think?
I would hope that it's pretty obvious here. Regardless of how this season plays out, I don't care if the Chiefs somehow lucked into the playoffs and got all the way to the Super Bowl. I think like I said, the writing's on the wall, big and bold. Something has to change, and it's not something small like that. There has to be something to make heads roll a bit, because right now I think Matt Nagy is the main target, right? Yeah. The whole fan base is ready to get rid of Matt Nagy, and I think that's a good idea. And I've said a million times, I don't think Matt Nagy is to blame for how bad the offense has been, because Andy Reid calls the plays. Andy Reid's got his thumb all over every bit of that. But I do think that Matt Nagy and Andy Reid are too comfortable with each other. I just think they are. And Matt Nagy is literally a product of Andy Reid. He's all in on Andy Reid's offense. That's what they do. They're buddy. They've been rubbing elbows for years, man. So I think you have to get someone new in here that can push back a little bit or bring new ideas to the table. I don't think Andy Reid, although stubborn as they come, I do think if an offensive coordinator had good ideas, I think Andy would listen. I think he would be like, okay, we can give that a shot. Yeah. Andy's the type of guy that'll give things a try. So I think they have to get somebody that's going to push back a little bit and bring something fresh to the table. Defensively, I think Spags is going nowhere. I don't think he's going to get hired as a head coach for the simple fact, look at this season. This season's been a failure on his part because of personnel issues. Little things like refusing to take Shamari Connor off the football field, that's not head coach material. And then, you talked about some of the other guys. Dave Merritt, I think, is safe. I think Blameyer would be a good one to go ahead. I think what we do is we look at the last few years. What's been the biggest problem? Everybody can talk about the defense all they want, but the biggest problem with this offense to this team has been the offense for years now. You have some of the best talent in football, and you can't move the ball. You can't put points on the board. And then I think you kind of just rearrange that entire offense there, as far as the coaching staff goes. Blameyer can go, Nagy can go, get some guys that can bring some fresh stuff to Reid. Yeah. Also, real quick, and I'll let you take it from here, I think if it was me, Special teams has been an absolute disaster for years now. You got Harrison Butker, who is the third most accurate kicker in NFL history out here, has the most misses this season of any kicker in the league. The special teams altogether looks like trash. Dave Tobe's more worried about getting clicks and getting FaceTime for saying stupid stuff about a president than actually fixing it. I'm done with Dave Tobe. I think he can go as well.
Well, look, I don't know what's wrong with Butker. Something tells me Butker just can't be like, he's just lost everything he's known about kicking. It makes no sense. There's got to be something. They went back to the new ball this year. There's got to be something there that he's not liking, or somebody's not preparing the balls properly.
Could it be like the rest of the team? You think like
maybe
Mahomes, Kelsey, like all these guys that are great, they're just like, it's this year, it's just not there. Like it's not going their way.
It's possible. We've mentioned time and time again, it could be the holder. I don't know what's going on, because you didn't see these problems before Matt Ariza. I mean, you did, but you didn't see them last this long. And so I don't know. I don't know where that's going. And honestly, I think Butker's the least of our worries at this point. The offense is so stagnant. They've got to get something together. Ron Kopp, our boy over there, he on X, he actually come out and said Patrick Mahomes actually only completed 14 of 30 passes, 3 interceptions. So all 3 of his interceptions come against the zone, 2 throwaways, 7 scrambles. He had 9 combined scrambles and throwaways, and he says that's an indication of the offense failing to scheme stuff open. And I totally agree with what he said. The offense is stagnant. The wide receivers are not running good route trees. They're not running good route combos. Even the plays Andy's deciding to run. He wanted to go back to the Jared Wiley play on the 4th and 2 or whatever it was. It made no sense, because you even had Kareem Hunt. You had a diamond formation with 4 guys on the right, and then you had Kareem Hunt bail out and go to the left and play tight end. He was lined up as a tight end. Like, it just gets too cute. It gets too just dumb.
Gimmicky.
Put somebody in the backfield. Put a fullback back there. Dude, the offense has to get a fullback back in there. To me, that is when the Andy Reid offense has went to total shit, is when they've decided to just eradicate the fullback. And then when it comes to the other stuff, the Texans actually blitzed us, a season high for them. They blitzed on 18 plays. They pressured Patrick Mahomes on 18 plays. That was tied for their most in a single game this season. And when forcing pressure on Mahomes, what did Mahomes do? 2 for 12, 40 yards, a pick, and they sacked him twice.
Right.
So what does that tell you? The Chiefs are not scheming anybody open. That offense is so stagnant and so bad that these defenders aren't even having to try at this point.
Mike, I challenge you to go back and watch any video, any live stream we've done for the last 2 weeks. Same with you guys watching. I preached it over and over and over again. The only way this offense is going to get better is if they scheme open guys and get the ball in their hands one way or another. You can't just run out there, run 5 shitty routes and have Patrick Mahomes back there trying to go through his progression while he's scrambling. That's never going to work. It's never going to work. Scheme these guys open. You have some great talent on the roster. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton. They all have blazing speed. They all can do a lot with the ball in their hand, and we're not even giving them the opportunities. Like, if they don't go out there and run around for 10 minutes and randomly get open and catch a prayer ball, they don't even get the ball in their hands. And that is the biggest mistake of this offense for the longest time, is not scheming guys open, not doing the basic little things. But Mike, I think the blitzing thing, you said that was the most they've blitzed, 18. I think that was a testament to how good our offensive line played, even with the backups in there. Can we shout out Essapol, ladies and gentlemen? That guy came in and played his first NFL start, well, essentially a start, coming on second play against Daniil Hunter. Showed out. He balled out, brother. Essapol, real deal. Jalen Moore, great job. Mike Caliendo had a rough day, but the rest of the offensive line looked fairly good against a really tough defensive front there from Houston. And I just think this was a failure of the offense for exactly what we just talked about, because you had time. Mahomes had time. We could have schemed a lot of guys open. We could have done a lot of things against his own defense. We did none of that.
Well, the Texans didn't blitz 18 times. They just pressured Mahomes 18 times. So they pressured him. That tied for their highest of any quarterback during the season. So that does mean at the end of the day, Caliendo, Jalen Moore, they allowed a lot of pressures.
But while you were watching the game in real time with the eye test, yes, Mahomes was under pressure quite a bit, but it didn't seem like the offensive line was a complete failure. I actually thought the offensive line was playing great compared to what we thought was going to happen.
The offensive line was not the problem. A lot of people thought the offensive line was going to get bulldozed, and they did not. You had Essapol again, who held Will Anderson to a 4% Or actually, it wasn't even Will Anderson. It was Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
He held Danielle Hunter to 4% win rate. So, and that was through 3 quarters. I don't think it got any better in the 4th.
No.
So, as a poll, he didn't even have practice snaps this week. Like, his practice reps were so limited. They even said that.
The next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. We've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, which is the best place to bet those touchdowns. DraftKings has industry-leading live betting market availability, which feature dynamic odds that move with the game and more open live betting markets more often. So get in on the action and sign up using our promo code ACU right now. With DraftKings, the crown is yours.
You were coming into a game and you were willing to put frickin' Wanye Morris over at left tackle and not even giving the backup any sort of reps to get ready.
Well,
to me, there's just coaching malpractice across the board, and there has been all season long, and it's bleeding into the offense. I don't think the players have bought into it anymore. It feels like they're losing their interest.
They're done with it.
There's a lot of bad personnel decisions, not getting Noel Williams in better. If you just want to stick to the offense, the fact that you had a chance to get Jalen Royals into the game this week, and you healthy scratch him, and it took 10 weeks to get this dude ready off knee tendonitis that a Tylenol could have fixed. And Brashard Smith, we heard week in and week out, it was time for Brashard Smith. We got to start getting him more snaps. It never happened.
Right.
So it's been a just coaching malpractice across the board. It's bled into the offense. It's bled into the players.
You hit the nail on the head when you were just talking about it's a poll, right? I mean, that's pretty much the Chiefs this year in a nutshell. I mean, they literally let the guy walk and kept Wanye Morris, and then they were going to start Wanye Morris. It took him getting injured for Esapo to get in there and be good. Like, that's how bad our coaching's been on decisions of personnel this season.
In the preseason, Esapo went like 70, 80 snaps of pass protection and never allowed a single pressure. Yeah, it was right in front of them.
Right.
It was right in front of them, and they don't want to do it.
There's no difference in that to me than, keeping Jamari Conner on the football field as much as they do, even though he gets absolutely roasted every play. I mean,
that's 100% stubbornness. And again, I will say this until I'm blue in the face. They would rather lose doing what they want to do than win trying something different.
Absolutely, dude. And that's how it's going to be until something gets shaken up. And that's why I think that, maybe getting rid of a offensive coordinator or a special teams coordinator or somebody of significance, I just don't think things will change until they do make a decision to do something like that and cause it to be a shakeup.
Yeah, I think if you go through the whole coaching staff, it all needs to be evaluated. Like, I don't think you fire Andy Reid for one bad missed playoff. I mean, you didn't get rid of Belichick when they missed the playoffs back in 2000, what was it, 8, something like that.
Right.
I don't think you go that extreme, but you do have to do something. You've got to bring in some new blood. We need some new, just everything. You can't even blame the weapons this year. This was the most weapons Patrick Mahomes had, and the offensive line was better. It was an upgrade from last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. So, he had plenty of weapons.
Yeah, so your only knock was Travis Kelce's getting older. Well, guess what? Surprise, he played a lot better this year than he did last year. So even the tight end stepped up. Now, the backup tight end's been a mess. We thought Noah Gray was going to do something. He didn't do it. We thought we were going to have something in the preseason with Brenningstool. That never panned out. They hyped up Tanyan all preseason. He never really got it going. I don't even think he's caught a ball this year. Jared Wiley's not panned out. Nobody's really being developed. If it has anything to do where their hand is on the offensive line, nobody's being developed. I think Kingsley might be the best developmental story we've seen so far.
Yeah, but I think Kingsley is more of he's just an insanely good athlete, and he fits better in at guard in NFL.
Right. He just finally fit his natural position.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what happened there. A lot of work to do. But let's kind of flip the script here, man. Let's talk about a little bit more what the Chiefs need to do going forward here. If they want a shot at getting into this playoffs, they have to win out. That's the number one thing, right? So they have to win 4 games straight. This next game they have coming up, Mike, I think it's against the Chargers, and it's absolutely, obviously, the most critical one. I think the Chiefs can beat the Chargers. The Chargers have been vulnerable all year because they lost both of their tackles. I think the Chiefs could have beat the Chargers in the opening game of the season if Travis Kelce had ran the right route there on that final play.
Yeah, if he didn't quit.
There's a lot that went into that, but I do think the Chiefs can beat the Chargers. So I think it's a game they should win. And then they play the Titans, then the Broncos, then the Raiders. So there's 2 games. So 50% of the 4 games should, and I say should very cautiously because the Chiefs can lose to anyone, but 2 of those 4 games should be gimme games. So, I mean, effectively, you need to beat the Chargers. You need to beat the Broncos.
Do you think, I'm going to ask you this straight up. A lot of people think the NFL's rigged. They think it's rigged. They think it's WWE. They think it's a Lifetime movie. It's just right there. Would it feel to you that the Chiefs losing 2 weeks ago, losing this week, they're just putting us in the biggest hole imaginable? The haters are dancing on their graves. And if the Chiefs were to really go 4-0 and somehow everything falls into their lap, is this going to go to the Chiefs? Is this going to go almost more to the NFL setting it up for the Chiefs because they're creating all this drama?
Well, I think anytime the Chiefs do anything successfully, it's going to be that the league's cheating for the Chiefs,
But
right?
doesn't it feel? It feels as though that we're watching a movie and you're in the 4th quarter and your quarterback got hurt. And everything's going wrong. And then here comes old Rudy in to win the day. Like, it feels like we are literally knocked into the corner.
Absolutely set up that way, right? And here's the thing, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously, the league's not rigged. There's way too many moving pieces. There's way
Absolutely.
too much. There's no way they could possibly
But doesn't
do
it
that.
feel like, though, if you're one of the rigged and then the Chiefs come back, boy, they're going to have a lot to really
It kind of
cry
goes
about
along
now.
to what I said last week. And last week, I said the Chiefs, as bad of a year as it's been, they found themselves in a great opportunity. You have an opportunity to win out, go to the playoffs, shut a lot of people up, right? You had that opportunity. You messed that up. You squandered it. Now you don't have that opportunity anymore. At this point, you're praying and hoping to God that these other teams just suck. Like, that's all you can do. You have to win your 4. You have to handle business, but they've not handled business all year. But let's just say they do. Let's say they handle business, Mike. They win out 4 games. The likelihood of the Chargers losing 3 of their last 4 games, which technically I guess is 5 because they have not played the Eagles yet as we've recorded this. I think that is possible if you look at their schedule, right? We've looked at it a few times, and they have a pretty grueling schedule for the rest of the year. They play the Eagles last night, which we don't know who won that game yet, but then they turn around and play the Chiefs at Arrowhead. They play the Cowboys in Dallas. They play the Texans, and they play the Broncos. So the last 2 weeks, they play the 2 best defenses in football. And we're talking about an offensive line that's been busted. We're talking about Justin Herbert, who's playing with a broken hand. They're playing on their 3rd-string running back. I mean, it's very, very, very possible that between the 5 games that I just mentioned, that they can lose 3. And if the Chiefs have to win out, then you can automatically just say they have to lose 2 of the other 4, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's possible. And then the Colts, we talked about the Colts still have to lose 2 of their last 4 as well. Well, the Colts, we all know Daniel Jones done for the season. The Colts have been sliding big time. And they just got smoked by the Jaguars. And now they have to turn around and play the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle.
Right. And they play the 49ers.
They play the 49ers at home. They play the Jaguars at home. And then they have to go into Houston and play the Texans. I think that
they probably lose all the divisional games for sure.
Yeah, I will say this right now. I'll say this right now. I am, as confident as I am that the Chiefs will not make the playoffs, I am not saying that it's because that these losses can't take place. Because in my heart, I fully believe that the Colts are going to lose 2 more, and I think that the Chargers are going to lose 3.
I think if the Chiefs don't get in, it's because
them.
they couldn't hold up their deal and win 4 games.
It's what it's been the whole damn season, Mike. The Chiefs have not held up their end of the bargain. They still didn't do it this week, and I don't see them doing it going forward. I do think, however, if the Chiefs could win their 4 games, I know that the percentage is small. It's like 16% or something like that. But honestly, if the Chiefs win their games out, I think it's a good chance for them to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And as much as I said that a lot of people will say it's rigged for the Chiefs, Steve, there's a lot of us that believe that they've tried to come down on the Chiefs this year to try to appease to the haters.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's happening in the game tonight, which will be yesterday. We're recording this before the game, again, before the Eagles-Chargers game. If you see the Eagles start getting calls and called for penalties on the tush push, and they lose this game and the Chargers get a win,
if they anything
is that going to be a questionable thing to where the league says, look, This is the best way to get and to keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs no matter what. It's out of their hands.
Is it, though? I mean, honestly, I think like it would be much easier for them to just continue to do what they're doing. Just continue to do what you're doing. Make it almost impossible for the Chiefs to win close games.
I'm just saying, for the conspiracy theorist of all of them, it would be really sus if the 1 week that the Chargers need to start losing, now they call the penalties on the Eagles push, and somehow it's now a problem.
Right.
So,
well, the Eagles have not been doing great themselves. They're on a losing streak. So
no, they
need to bounce back.
Right,
they need to bounce back. But yeah, dude, honestly, just a terrible season all in all. It's been very grueling. It's been exhausting for us as podcasters, content creators. Like, it's been exhausting, brother, just trying to keep up the faith, keep up, a little bit of positivity. And here we are again in the same boat in a different week. And I mean, all my confidence is shot at this point. I absolutely 100% don't believe the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. There's no hope in me left. And when I look at the scenario that has to happen, I'm like, yes, it's absolutely doable. That's doable. The Chiefs should win 4 games, and those other teams should lose that amount of games. Like, it's doable. It makes sense. Seems logical. But I have no hope in it. I have no faith. And I mean, what can we do at this point? Pray? I mean, that's the corner that you've backed yourself into.
Well, I think for me, what's so hard about this year is the fact that you still don't come off of your position that this team, all around talent-wise, is just better than last year's team.
It is.
Travis has said it. Jason Kelce has said it. Everyone has said that. And nobody believes it because it's not producing W's. But, dude, this team is better. But I'll tell you what this team don't have that last year's had. They had a little bit more heart last year. And they had a little bit more luck on their side. And we've talked about that.
Right.
When the luck runs out, what happens? Because the luck don't last forever.
15-2 season last year could have very well been what it is right now if you go back and they were to call Brian Cook for the PI on Kyle Pitts in the end zone if Isaiah Likely's toe had not been on that line, like quarter of an inch, if they didn't block a field goal against Denver at the last second. So many things fell in the Chiefs' favor last year.
Did all that luck disguise all these problems that we're going through this season?
Absolutely.
They just kicked the can down the road.
It didn't really disguise it either, Mike, because we called it out all season long, and you were called stupid
people said we were
all
negative.
Season long, right?
Yeah.
Right, but no, we called it out the entire year, like, hey, this team's not right. There's some problems here. They're getting pretty lucky, though, and things are rolling their way. But guess what? That ball's bouncing a different way this season. It looks completely different, but I don't think the team's much different. I do think they are a better roster. The offensive line's an upgrade. The receivers are an upgrade. But, I mean, overall, if you want to say any kind of downgrade, you could go defense.
Well, what's kind of weird is I feel like the roster's better as a whole, at least on paper, but I feel like at the end of the day, I don't feel like we're as deep as last year. I feel like our players that are coming in and needing to play minutes just don't feel like they're having the same impact as last year's backups did.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. We saw last night, third string offensive lineman out there doing the Lord's work against Daniel Hunter.
Tonight or last night or the night before, whenever that was. But as for a full season, I don't know. I've been just very I don't even know the word, just very uninspired by the way like people have had to step up. For one particular room, I'll say the tight end room. Look how much they've let everybody down this year.
I think there's been more let down by guys that are starting in key positions, in my opinion. Because if like Charles Omenihu, all we needed was a decent year from Charles Omenihu, and he literally has blanked. Like, he's bad. Like, that was a bad decision to keep him around. Mike Dana has not stepped up and played into his contract. It was a little too high when we gave it to him. They're just guys that have not stepped up and done what they need to do, mainly that defensive line. Now, you can make up excuses. Oh, Norman Lott got hurt. Stuff like that. But that's on the Chiefs too. Just bad decision making. We saw last night, Mike. I've been saying this, and you've been saying this. If Ashton Gelati had been getting the snaps that Charles Omenihu had been getting all year, we'd see a whole different defensive line. Did we not?
Yeah.
Ashton Gelati puts the heat on people.
He should have been getting it. You should have been playing Noah Williams. You could have maybe been sliding McDuffie down into the nickel by now.
It all goes back to the same thing that we started this episode with. The coaching staff, poor decision-making, poor personnel choices. That is what this year has been. And I just think that's it in a nutshell. And it's not going to change until something's got to get shook up a little bit. I hope to God that maybe they saw a couple of things in this Texans game, because you have to win your last 4 regardless. I think even if you don't make it to the playoffs, even if the Colts were to win more than you think or the Chargers were to win more than we think,
you need the 4-0 finish.
You need
for
it anyway,
reasons.
dude. You need to make it respectable, because right now, dude, if the Chiefs don't make the playoffs and they go 10-7 and they barely miss it because of one thing here or there, fine, whatever. But if you don't make the playoffs, you finish the season with a losing record.
A losing record.
Yeah, dude. You can't do that. So I'm hoping that this staff learned a little bit from this week, which I have no faith in that, by the way.
Hey, watch Andy's presser. You didn't learn nothing.
But let's see here, man. Let's take a look. Can we play Noah Williams, please? This kid needs to be on the football field. End of story. Like, let's just see if we can start there. We need to have Ashton Gelati on the football field. Yeah. Not Charles Omenihu, not Mike Dana. Ashton Gelati needs to be out there. Let's see if at least Spags can make those adjustments coming up this week against the Chargers.
There's a lot more. I'd have loved to see some Jeffrey Bossa play a little bit this year.
Let's just start there. I'm just trying to start small, baby steps.
Right. Brashard Smith getting more snaps on the offense. That'd be great.
Like, I'm with you. There's a lot more we could do, but I feel like those two are so damn obvious. Like, if you can't do that, but if you can't do that, you're not doing shit.
Our offense needs help too, though. So, I mean, I think you got to put Brashard Smith into this. We need a dynamic playmaking running back that can get out there and do something. And the fact that he doesn't get at least 5-7 touches a game where he could try to do something and start to get in a rhythm and get the game speed down is criminal, because you just keep giving it to Pacheco and running up the back. Dude, Kelsey had a beautiful sill block yesterday on one of those inside zones, and he just ran right up his back.
Pacheco is what we thought he is. He has no field vision. He runs hard.
There was one play.
He can't.
I want to say there was one play maybe in the third quarter where it looked like Pacheco seen the field. He actually seen the blocker, jump cut, come back through, and got like 7 yards on it, and I almost fell off the couch, bro.
Probably an accident, to be quite honest about it.
Was probably an accident, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, Mike, like you mentioned, man, something has to change on the offense, and you're right. And I'm going to keep preaching. I've been preaching it for weeks now. The only way that this offense is going to get help, the only way Patrick Mahomes is going to get help, is if Andy Reid takes his head out of his ass and start scheming some of these weapons open. You have plenty of weapons on the football field. You mentioned Brashard Smith that is underutilized. We've talked about Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy, all sub 4.3 40s. Brashard Smith too, by the way. So that's 4 guys with that kind of speed. You have Rashee Rice, who took the league by storm, and effectively, when he's been available to play, has played stat-wise up there with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like some of the top guys.
Yeah.
We're not getting the ball in these guys' hands at all. We're not scheming anything to get these guys the football. It is literally a hodgepodge mess every time we snap the football of them running shitty routes, nothing making any sense. Patrick Mahomes running around trying to make a miracle out of nothing, trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat. That is what we do every damn snap. And until that changes, until we make plays where, hey, this is intentional that Xavier Worthy is supposed to have the ball in his hands. This is intentional that Rashee Rice is supposed to get this pass quick and let something happen. Until that happens, until they get Brashard Smith some passes, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Patrick Mahomes has no more magic left in that bag there. He's not effing Santa Claus. I know it's Christmas, but he can't pull it out of his ass again. It's just not happening. Get some guys open.
Well, look, I'll say this. That develops, when you do things like that, that develops chemistry, that develops lots of comfort within a quarterback, a groove within the offense, and it gives you something that the defense has to try to stop. And then you can take advantage of a defense. Yes. When you just got this hodgepodge mess of crap where the Texans can just basically sit back and not do anything differently, and your guys are just all going to run, 4 guys on the field, and they're all just going to run a 4-yard hitch route.
Yeah.
Then they don't even have to use athleticism. Like, they're literally just out here watching the football game, and they're just going to keep it in front of them and make a tackle.
Right, Mike. And I want to point out real quick before we move on, 2 years ago, we had a problem moving the football. And what did we get on here and say every week? Like, hey, man, just scheme some things to Travis Kelce, pitch and catch. Just get that visual of that ball dropping into Kelce's hands over and over again, and get this offense rolling. The rest will go downhill, right? Get that confidence instilled, get that kind of momentum going. And they started to do that, and you saw a difference in the offense. It's the exact same thing this year. It's the exact same thing. Get some confidence in Patrick Mahomes. Get some confidence in your receiver. Why do you think they're dropping balls, guys? You're going to drop balls if the only time that you're ever open is when you're running backyard football routes. You're making stuff up on the fly. You're getting decked. You're getting hit helmet to helmet, knocked out mid-play. Like, everything is a joke. Get these guys open. Let them get the ball in their hands. Let them try to create. Make it easy. As easy as you possibly can until things start rolling downhill a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tie it back to what I said earlier, though. Go back and look through all this entire run with Patrick Mahomes, minus maybe 2021, 2022 on. You know, the Super Bowl that we beat the 49ers. If you go back and look at the one that we lost to with the Bucks, the Eagles' first Super Bowl, every one of these are Patrick Mahomes pulling a rabbit out of a hat and disguising some of these bad scheme designs, and him and some playmakers just making some key plays when it counted.
Right.
And there was never really no put together coordinated offensive schemes where they come out and just dominated a team. Like, it was always really close. We played the worst style of football you've ever seen. It's been a grind to watch, and Patrick Mahomes has to pull one out very end of the game. And we've seen that. And like I said, this year it's just not followed our way. The magic's running out because I think Kelce just got a little old. I don't think these guys on offense are the right style of players that freestyle well. I don't think they freestyle with Mahomes very well, and you can call it chemistry, whatever you want. But I think that they've got a roster full of guys that you need to scheme open. Rashee Rice's, get them on linebackers, cross routes. Do the same thing with Hollywood Brown. Do the same thing with Xavier Worthy. In my opinion, you don't got a lot of like backyard football players here.
Well, all you do when you start talking about the Chiefs or as a dynasty or a success, what do you get compared to? What's always a comparison? Everybody goes straight to Tom Brady and the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what did Tom Brady and the Patriots do? Everything was schemed. Tom Brady knew where the ball was going before he snapped it.
Yeah.
Timing routes. He knew who was getting the ball. It was never Tom Brady run back there and try to figure something out. That was very rare that had to happen.
And he also knew that at any point he would just about check it out, take it out of his hands and put it in the hands of a James White or somebody like that. That wasn't the greatest running back ever.
Rashard Smith could do it. Rashard Smith could be that guy.
Yeah, he would do things like that, and then he would always be able to check down.
We did it with Jared McKinnon.
And if you notice, if you'll go back and watch all 22, if you have the chance to be able to do that from the Texans game, there was a lot of times our running backs leaked out of the backfield. Patrick Mahomes wouldn't even look. He just went ahead and was forcing. The one that he threw, the arm punt on third down, Kareem Hunt had come out of the backfield. He was wide open for a first down, and Mahomes just had already decided he was launching it.
Right. Well, I guess overall, man, try to keep some positivity just for the fact that what a beautiful run the Chiefs have been on the last decade. It's hard to be mad at, regardless of how the season plays out. Yeah, there's still a tiny shred of hope, but it's probably going to be gone very soon. But either way, man, you have to be happy with how the Chiefs have been as an organization for the last decade. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. Try to stay positive. Keep being the best fans in the world and doing all that stuff. Guys, we appreciate you being with us today. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do us a favor. Give us a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Share this out with a friend. Let's get more people over here. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. That would be freaking awesome. You can also become a member of our channel. You can do members-only live streams, win signed jerseys, signed footballs, all kinds of All Chiefed Up merchandise. Just go to join.allchiefedup.com. It's $4.99 a month to subscribe. Super cheap, and it's totally worth it. Get in the chat, talk to our members. They'll lead you that way. Also, I mentioned the merchandise. If you'd like to get some All Chiefed Up merchandise, like that hoodie that Mike's wearing right here, baby, if you'd like to get that, or this hat that I'm wearing right here, you can get over to merch.allchiefedup.com. We have 15% off for the rest of the year if you just use promo code Cheesmas.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing this with a friend. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.